Hey there, I'm Jessica, and this is Bookshelf to Big Screen. I'm pretty new to BookTube, and so today I'm going to do the BookTube Newbie Tag. It's a few questions designed to help you get to know me a little better. So let's get started. First question, why did you start this channel? It's a really good question. I had been kicking around the idea of doing a YouTube channel for a little while now. I just didn't really have any really good ideas for what I wanted to do repeatedly or like on a regular basis. And at the beginning of this year, when everything was getting shut down because of the pandemic, my sister had the idea to start a book club within our family, and one of the first books that we read was Little Fires Everywhere. And it happened to be at the same time that the show came out on Hulu. So I was watching it and reading it at the same time, and I found myself really comparing the two, what I did like or didn't like about the changes that they made in the series versus what really happened in the book. So that gave me the idea to review book adaptations for my channel. And I also wanted to get back into video editing, which I had done a long time ago. So this gives me a chance to practice that and get back into reading, which I had not made a lot of time for in recent years. So those are the two major reasons that I started this channel. Second question, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? BookTube is pretty incredible. I think there's a lot of great channels and some interesting people out here doing really fun reviews and bringing attention to new books that are out there coming out. So I really like that. There are a few channels that are doing specifically book adaptations, but I don't think there's as many that are specifically doing that. So I think that my take is not going to be lost in like the sea of BookTube. Hopefully, I want to discuss specifically how the book compares to the movie point for point. I also had the idea that if you were in a book club and you only watched the movie instead of reading the book, you could come to my channel and have a better idea of what you missed in the book. So I really wanted to do like in-depth reviews of what changed from the book to the movie or the TV series. So I hope that people find it interesting and get a lot from that, and at least maybe learn something new that they didn't know if they only read the book or only watched the movie. I also try to do some research when I'm looking into why things changed from the book to the movie, so sometimes I bring that insight as well. Next question. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I talked a little bit about it earlier. I'm excited to get back into video editing, getting back into working with editing software that I had not used in many years is exciting for me. Just getting familiar with all that again, and also reading a lot more. I have been trying to make more time for reading, so I'm really excited that this year I've read way more. I've read twice as much this year as I did last year, which is a big deal for me, so I'm very happy about that. Why do you love reading? I've loved reading as long as I can remember. I think I owe my love of reading to my mom. She always read to us as kids and made sure that we always had books to read. We always went to the library every week to get new books, and we always had books in the car for car trips or things like that. She had a great love of reading, and she passed that on to us as her kids, so I'm really happy for that, and I'm really grateful for that. Which book or series got you into reading? My first favorite book was Horton Hatches the Egg. My mom used to read it to me all the time, and she did funny voices for everybody, and I just loved it. So Dr. Seuss was definitely one of my favorites early on, and then later, as far as the series, it's not major literature, but the Far Side comics and Calvin and Hobbes were probably the first series of books that I loved, and my mom would get me those all the time. And so I have probably all the books, and I just like the witty and funny jokes that they had, and that really got me into reading, and I think kind of set me up for the genres that I'm into now. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I'm still pretty new to BookTube, so I don't know a lot of booktubers. I've joined a few communities to kind of be around them and get to know some other booktubers, but I guess the question I would probably want the most advice on is, how do you guys avoid burnout from producing and making a video every week or however often you're posting? Because reading takes time, and for me, I take a lot of time in preparing my reviews, because I'm reading a book and then I'm looking at the movie and then I'm going back and forth between the two to see what the differences were. And I know everybody's not doing that, but some people are reading like a bunch of books every month and then doing like long reviews. And so that would be my main question. How do you stay motivated to do this, and what kind of steps you take to avoid getting burnt out from reading books, because it's something that you love to do, but then it becomes work and you get tired of it. I don't want to get tired of it. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So again, I think the hardest thing to overcome is making time to do this consistently. My goal is to do a video every week. It doesn't always happen because life happens, and I want to make time for reading, but you have to do other things. And then I take a lot of time to write out what I'm gonna say, because I'm not someone who can just like free flow thoughts. I get very sidetracked and it's hard for me to stay on topic, and I don't want to get lost in my thoughts, what I want to say. So I write it all down first, and it's time consuming. So that's one of the biggest challenges for me, I think, will be consistently making enough time to get my goal of doing one video every week out. When did you start reading? I talked about this already. I started reading very early. My mom always read to me as a child, so I've been reading as long as I can really remember. I remember being really proud of myself in kindergarten because I had this little book and I took it and read it to my class, but I couldn't actually read yet. I just had memorized the book, so I looked really cool reading it to my class. Where do you read? I mostly read in bed before I go to sleep and when I wake up, before anyone else is up and bothering me or needs my attention. So that's the time that I have all to myself. So that's mostly when I read. But I also will do audiobooks that I can throw some headphones on and listen to a book while I'm doing stuff around the house, or I'll listen if I'm in the car. Those are the main places that I'm reading. Occasionally, if I'm somewhere where I have to wait for a long time, I'll open up my Kindle app and read there too. During the day in my house, I don't sit down and read a lot because I have a toddler who requires a lot of my attention and doesn't let me focus on reading, so I don't read during the day a lot. What kind of books do you like to read? My favorite kind of books are sci-fi and fantasy. I like British humor, that dry kind of sarcastic, witty humor. I really enjoy that. So those kind of books. I also like thrillers and suspense novels where you can't wait to find out who did it. That's mostly what I like to read. So there you have it. I hope you learned a little bit more about me, and if you liked the video, please click like and be sure to subscribe so you can see my next video. Thanks for watching.